Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 73 entitled Energies. Well, this is the fourth and last chapter and fourth video, despite the fact you can watch them individually and independently. You can start by this one and then go to the second one and so on. Well, we're gonna continue and also go to a certain conclusion regarding this very important pillar that I consider regarding the topics, the big picture of invisible worlds. The next one will be egregores, archetypes, and so on, entities, and the third one will be, third pillar will be hereafter. And we will conclude with, let's say, an enlargement of this concept with aliens, probably some other types of lives in different places, and also the notion of multiverse and different realities and so on, so far. Well, let's come back to the points of and to try to combine all what we saw previously. I mean, not to synthesize, but just to try to enlarge the perspective with a more holistic vision and the holistic dimension. Holistic, holos in Greek means global. So this is an overall view, combining different perspectives. Scientists, spiritual, and so on and so forth. As I say to you many times, as Nikola Tesla, the great scientist, say, if you want to find the secret of the universe, things in terms of energies, vibration, and frequencies. Okay, so for him, you can find everything through that. That's why it's so important to understand how does it work. As I told you many times, everything is energy. My body is made of energy. Everything, the tangible things are, even nature and so on, is pure energy. Okay, so by emission, by reception, this is extremely important. So, you know, Goethe said the wave is the original phenomenon which engendered the world. So this is important. Why? Because everything is a notion of vibration and energy, as he said. Let's try to see concretely. Actually, this is imagine when you see a building. Okay, you can consider that you are aware of the fact there was workers and so on. They work on it and so on for you to see the materiality. Before that, what was that? An architect who drew some patterns and so on. All right. Then he imagined. Okay, he visualized in his mind and so on. Okay, the measurements and so on and so forth. Beyond of that, he downloads from a certain inspiration from somewhere else. Okay, but every time is only energy. It's informational. It's information. Information you can hear form, but shapeless. Okay, so it's pure energy. And then each step I just explained, because we can say that a pattern for an architect is not a real house, but it's more materialistic already than pure energy and pure information at first. So all these degrees, this evolution concretely, is the process of materialization and densification of the process of energy. But as I explained at the first and initial video, when you have water, the chemical, let's say, formula doesn't change, despite the fact it is gas or a liquid. If the water is liquid, if there is condensation of this water, air, if it's solid like snow, like ice and so on, it doesn't change. H2O is the same principle. So all the steps are the process of creation. That's why it's so important to consider that when you have in the Bible, in the Genesis, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and so on and so forth. Most of people don't understand what does it mean, the word, the word, the word, the word. Actually, it's simple. It's the good translation is more because in English or even in French it's the same. Is to pour. There is only one version of it. Normally there is three points. This is the logos. The logos means a euphonia. Okay, a sound with let's say some let's say thereby some frequencies, then an energy, okay, and then also a meaning, okay. So when we say sometimes the word is creator, okay, for the good, for the bad, is also destroyer if we don't use positively. But this is important to understand that, you know, even you know that grammar, what is grammar concretely? Grammar is the structure of the sentences to make a sense, okay, to does make sense, okay, to give a meaning of something, okay. If you change the word and so on, people don't understand anything, so you have to respect this structure. Grammar, etymologically, it comes from French, and you know what does it mean? It's let's say witchcraft book, okay, a recipe, a book of recipe for magic. Imagine. Further, you know, when you spell a word, okay, spell S-P-E and so on. All right. Do the parallel with that. When you say that you cast a spell, it's like magic. So that's why Sigmund Freud, the father of the psychoanalysis, he explained at the beginning, language, the word and magic were two things equivalent. That's referring to that notion of the frequencies is the basis of everything in terms of creation. Well, let's try to go further, but also more down to earth and operational dimension. How come? How to reconnect to the source of energies? So there is different techniques. I will give you 10. I will resume, but just let's try to see some of them in priority. The first one is, for example, sound healing, okay, sonotherapy, or sound healing, music therapy, and so on and so forth. What is it concretely? You have 7 notes of music. You have 7 colors, okay, I mean essential colors. You have 7 chakras. There are, your chakras are your centers of energies. Okay, it's really to make it short, because normally there is also the meridians, the different nevralgic, let's say, points in acupuncture and so on. But let's try to make it short. You have different chakras, okay? So source of energy. All of them are referring to a function. All of them are referring to a frequency. All of them are referring to a color. And it's not innocent. It means when you listen to music, you can activate or do as a massage. One of the best music for that is Bachel Bell Canon. I will give you the reference. It's only 5 or 6 minutes. It's very long time ago. It's few centuries. But there is some studies try to see the activation of the different chakras and the body in general, and it's worked very well. So I know it's not really conventional and official medicine, but it's something which works. But and also is whole like humanity. When you see the Tibetan, sound healing, it has more than 2,500 years almost. Okay, so it's the tradition, and you can find this kind of thing in many culture, in maybe folklores. So let's go further. One of the good way to reactivate and to reconnect to this source is necessarily meditation. Medium in Latin means center, so get back to the center, and means also, in parallel, 2 meanings. It means also the link. Okay, so is the point, and this is the link between 2 points. This is important for what? And by the way, when you use the plural of medium is media. Okay, the newspaper and so on, they are medias. Okay, so concretely, they are supposed to be the link in between the events, the reality, and the spectators. Okay, that's the point. But the fact the meditation, to make it short, because I refer to you to the key 21 and 22, mindfulness, which is a daily practice of meditation, is in the action of what you are doing. But the first one, 21, is I gave the 5 schools, essentially Zazen, Vipassana, and so on, how to breathe and so on. So all this allows you, there is 2, either you're passive, either you're active. Active means, for example, the visualization of the activation of your chakras, okay? This activates energy within. Okay, this is one of the first one. The second one is just to empty your mind to reach fullness. Empty fullness. Yeah. If you catch what I mean, it's like our mind is most of the time we are thinking about something. Okay, but we are full, like a sponge. If we empty the sponge, we can have to access something further and higher. Food is also a good way. Food actually is one of the most important producer of energy for humans. Okay, so you know, if we eat a maximum of refined products, like you almost they don't contain two essential things in nutrition: nutrients, okay, the real energetic value, and enzyme. Enzyme are natural cleaners. Okay, they clean up your body and so on to take it out the toxin and so on. So if you kick out that, it means that is useless. I mean, you fulfill your body, but then one in, one out. Okay, doesn't bring anything. This is one another point is in the nutrition, but there, I did a key only for that. So is a key 24, if my memory is correct, or 25. But anyway, you will check if you're interested, of course, to deepen. Is to eat regularly, not every day, raw food. Why? Because the fact to cook destroys some molecules. Okay, so nutrients. So that's why if you eat some salads, some fresh fruits, some fresh vegetable and so on, it brings you a lot. And also to do in between. Okay, it means that normally what is advised is under 43 Celsius degree. Okay, so I know it's not completely warm, but at least it doesn't destroy the molecules. Of course, if you do barbecue, it's full of carbon, huh? So it's full of potential cancer. So you can eat sometimes of food for pleasure and so on, is not the point. But if you always do like this, it can be affecting your complete energy, your health and so on. So that's important point. You know, I'm always saying that the normal product is not normal that we put a label of organic on certain products. It should be written, be careful, caution, shit on other items. I mean, other food. And, you know, to be honest with you, I'm a bit confident. And I'm regarding this potential transition because I can see, I work and I have a company in textile, fashion industry and so on. I work, I mean, for more than 10 years in Shanghai, okay? For big groups and so on. There had some rows appearing 20 years ago, like azo-free, nickel-free, and so on, to avoid to burn. This is just to avoid, to preserve the consumer. This is normal. And then there was an evolution as well. I remember at the beginning of our company, we wanted to promote essentially organic product, sustainable product, and so on. So most of people, I mean, the buyers from big groups, buying offices and so on, they thought it was a great idea, but it was too expensive. I mean, more expensive than other products. So it didn't work, except once in 2019, a giant of clothes industry say, okay, within the 5 next year, our company will switch to full 100% organic products. So as the trend was launched, all the competitors has been obliged to do the same. So it means that probably in 2025, something like this, even a few years later, but before 2030, normally all the products from textile will be, I prefer to say, will be organic, and which is normal, is not good, is normal. Is more the contrary, the fact that we accepted the fact that it can be polluting and so on, it can affect, and I think you understood. But for food industry, I'm sure that it will work as well. One thing extremely important, I work now in business for 25 years old, if I include my own study, my own courses, and I teach as well. Offer, demand. Keep this in mind. This is the consumer activating, okay, the assortments. It's not the producer who, because he's produced and then he imposes. No. If the consumer refrain to buy shitty product and so on, after a while it will be the trend, it will be the normality, okay? And the industrial, they will adapt. Huh? They did it for textile, and which is a great, I mean, very important, the third biggest producer of pollution in the world. So for food, for many things like this, we could rethink positively, peacefully, harmoniously, to try to visualize if it does make sense, if it goes in the sense of humanity, nature, respect of life, the living in general. Let's continue. You know, the organic product, so maybe some of you will laugh, what is it? Is the fact, for example, the farmer when talks to his vegetable, when the grandma, you know, prepare food and so on, and putting a lot of love, okay? So it's the same principle. And this works as long as we believe in this notion of transfer of energy, of communicating vessels, okay? So anyway, if you think it's funny, no big deal. The fact to over-consuming meats can be dangerous because you need more time to digest, so you use more energy to recreate energy. If you eat often as well, too much in portion and so on. If you don't do fasting, fasting is an excellent way to recover it and to boost your energy, for example. I talk about that detox, key 25, I think, or 26, anyway. But the meat actually is more the notion of respecting the animals. You know, when I was in shamanic retreats in 2016 in Mongolia, if you go to Mongolia, 9 months in the year, there is snow. So you can imagine that the vegetable and the agriculture is limited, except potato and carrots, nothing else. All right. So of course, meat is very prevalent in the food. Okay, but they respect, they sacrifice, but with respect. Okay, when you see some places like factory and the animals are treated really horribly, you eat fear, you eat low vibration, low energy. You know, at the extreme, that's why I'm vegetarian. Just explain to people that it pollutes and so on and so on. I'm not doing proselytism. I don't have friends who are vegetarian. I don't want necessarily everybody is converting to that. It's not that point. I'm just think that it's better to avoid to eat too much, and also because of for the pollution. If the world were consuming as United States the production and the consumption of meat, we would need dozens of planets. Okay, so it's not possible. Okay, and water and so on and so forth. So, and also because it's bad for health at the end. So, I mean, when it's too extreme, and especially when it's not in the respect of the animals for the sacrifice and so on and so forth. But at the other extreme, so imagine the poor animals and you eat fear and so on, low energy. And in parallel, there is a cow in Japan, and it's true story. I don't remember the name. Apparently, it's the best meat in the world, and the cow is super well treated. Receiving a massage, beer, every time. So the cow is living in the paradise, and then the quality of the food is better. You understand this notion is not innocent. It means that, and you are eating that. You are eating this energy. It's a transfer of energy. Once again, I repeat myself. Well, let's continue. One of the sources also is referring to the key 59, sex, sexuality, libido. Libido, you know, Kundalini energy and so on. Of course, there is two schools. Some people who refrain, because when you refrain, that's why some soccer players and some boxers and so on, they don't make love or they don't masturbate for a few days because they want to activate this this energy, which is a real potential. And in parallel, the fact to practice to make love, let's say, to have a sexuality, harmonious sexuality, also allows you to make circulating your own energy. And it can be self-love, self-sexuality. Okay, yeah, I say that. You can see the key 59. I'm talking about that, and this is important because it allows person to activate this this chi, this ki, this prana, this ether within us. Okay, so if I had to give you, just to resume 10 tips. First, visualize the impact on energies daily. Okay, at your own scale. Okay, with your network, your colleagues, your family, and so on and so forth. Okay, try to visualize the ego, you know, the struggle of power, all this kind of thing. Second, try to visualize the impact of energies worldwide. Okay, governments, medias, and so on and so forth. You will see also the hegemonies of certain countries, some camps, and so on and so forth. The protection, try also, this is the ball of light. This is a meditation that you can have, you can download from a website, and also we'll put a link as well. What is it concretely? Is you visualize, but you no need necessarily my guide meditation for that. You just visualize a bubble of a ball of light increasing, and then protecting you. Okay, and you can enlarge it till the size of the planet and the universe, if so. Very important as well is between the key 20 and 21 and between the key 40 and 41, I gave you respectively 30 different tools, tips, advice for rising your vibration, your energy, your frequencies, and to become harmonious. Together, you have 60 ones. Doesn't mean that you have to put into practice. You can have even 65 in the book for free that you can download from my website in English, Sage Passage Utopia. Okay? No need necessarily to put into practice 6 ones, just dozen of them, and your life will change radically, constantly. So very important. Another one that I recommend you is meditation, basically. Meditation is one of the basics to reach and to activate your energy regularly. Breathing properly, referring to the key 23, okay, breathing with a good rhythm, okay, and also to activate sometimes this kind of thing, and hyperventilation. All the techniques I gave you allows you to boost your immune system and also your inner energy, basically. 7, food, I say. Physical activity, you know, in Hinduism, Buddhism, and so on, in Tai Chi, Qigong, which is the practice of Taoism, they don't consider, for them it's impossible not to do physical activity. Why? Because otherwise it's like, okay, you learn, to make the parallel, you learn all the sexual position of Kama Sutra and so on, and you never practice, okay? Or it's the same for spirituality, and you can know all the culture from the world and so on. If you don't implement anything, is useless. The same principle. So sexual activity, and also I invite you also to visualize the torus, the Tor. Okay, like this, for example, inhaling like this. Okay, and this is the point of singularity. Okay, the sphere, and coming back always like this. Okay, and it activates something within you. So, for example, inhaling like this, exhaling like this. Okay, on the other, because it has to be double. You can also visualize, for example, the Platon bodies. What is it? There is 5 wands, tetrahedron and so on, referring to 5 elements. Tetrahedron is fire and so on. Until icosahedron is difficult to visualize, but if you can afford, do it. Also the Merkaba. Merkaba is 2 tetrahedrons, let's say on the reverse side. So one is like this, and the second one is like this. Okay, I invite you. I recommend the templates organization. You can check on internet. It's for free. You have activation of coding and so on. regarding that. This is really well done, and you just need to watch, and then it will allow you also to activate maybe daily or whenever you want. This is important to know all this type of functioning and this type of energies. As Hippocrates, the father of Greek medicine, said, the forces of nature within us are the true healers of disease. So this is important also to be aware about all this, and also let's go further to reconnect to something higher that we call ether, morphic field, and so on. Morphic fields, to make it short, this is a theory that we will see again when we will explore the next videos, a series of videos on the egregores. Concretely, is a theory from the biologist British Rupert Sheldrake. For him, he considered that all species is belonging and nourish a kind of morphic field, which is an egregore. Okay, so that's why when I explained to you the 100th monkey theory, the fact that, to make it short, on an island, after 8 years, they change, they teach each other how to improve a certain practice. And after reaching a certain part of the population doing this practice, it becomes a normality. But from one day to another, like if you drop a drop of milk into the coffee, instantly it becomes brown. It's the same phenomenon. So it means that we nourish the, let's say, the egregores, the morphic fields, and in parallel, the morphic fields nourish us. What does it mean? It means that it's like when you wake up in the morning and your smartphone suggests you to update your mobile. You can have the same program that all the species on the world, I mean all the mankind. Why is it important? The more you awaken, the more she's awakening, the more he will awaken, and the more I awaken daily, because it's an endless process. This is important to reconsider this notion of collective and individual consciousness. This is the reason why I insist so much on the fact that awakening is a inwardly process, is an inward process, and also with outwardly reflection, okay, like resonance, as we saw in previous videos. Well, I hope it will help you to shape, and you can also deepen the all different reference I gave you, the books, the meditation, the different keys, and so on. Try to visualize, to try to feel what's vibrate within you. This is extremely important key and very important advice. I hope it will help you to shape your master key of consciousness, of love, of your heart, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome, and to the Dome, and to home. Thank you for your attention, and see you very soon.